Hi, I'm Timo Bleeker of Wilcox Architects, and I'm here at Treeside Lane in Margaret River. And behind me there's a building that I want to show you that has been planned to the Passive House principles. The first thing I like to point out is its compact form. Compact form always helps with achieving a comfortable and healthy building because it has less outer surface where our heating and cooling energy can disappear, and also has less thermal bridges. Here a glimpse onto the courtyard side, which is facing northwards. The roof has been extended out to avoid the summer sun to get into the bigger glazing that we've got here, but let the winter sun in for passive heating. I'm now upstairs on the balcony and we're about to enter the building right through this door. Let's open it. And there you go. Now we are going inside. This building has been planned with the timber framed construction method, and you can see wonderfully here the insulation that has been applied. So these are 90mm studs where we insulated with rock wool insulation, and here you can see the air tightness membrane that will be, or has been started, being applied to the construction here. There are 5 principles under the Passive House standard, where is one, proper insulation, second is insulated glazing, double glazing or better. Then there is air tightness construction or airtight construction. There is the avoidance of thermal bridging, and there is 24/7 constant ventilation with a heat recovery ventilation system. Air tightness is important to avoid drafts and uncontrolled ventilation. So any air that you don't want into your house, that will be avoided by this membrane. That's why it's important to have this membrane continuously around the building. This basically continues all around the edges and also around the windows. The taping of the air tightness layer around all the joints from materials to other materials, so that no air can get through it and get into the building, which is considered to be uncontrolled ventilation, and gets you some drafts which can lead to the internal temperature to get colder in winter or hotter in summer. Even for any fixings through this air tightness membrane, we take care that the actual screw fixings are taped and not create a hole in the air tightness membrane and then any drafts. All the windows are double glazed, which you can see at this little aluminium spacer that is right here in the middle, which I can't touch. There's a glazing pane right in front of it, and there's a glazing pane on the other side, and that silver aluminium little piece in the middle is basically the glass separator. And it's important that this is a warm spacer, as we call it, so that the heat or the cool can't disappear through it and build the thermal bridge. Also the tape around the framing, there's a thick tape here again to avoid drafts. That's all part of the air tightness or sealing the building. Back to our little corner that we had a look at previously. On the right hand side, that white membrane that you see is again the air tightness membrane. We see nicely the insulation bats that have been tucked tightly into the or between the studs there. And on the other side we see the other membrane here through or on the other side of the studs. That's the weather membrane on the outside of the building, which is or should be a vapor open one, so that any moisture that might sit within the building or within the structure can disappear to the outside. So that's the building again. We're just here out at the front. Down here is the clients. I'm just coming closer. Hello, welcome at the building. James and Julia, how are you?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Perfect, thanks. I guess you are happy to see your building getting developed and, you know, having progress.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see how it's coming together as well. Modern building techniques and obviously the passive house stuff, the insulation, the air tightness. Yeah, really interesting.
Okay, so how did you get, you know, to the idea of the sort of extended sustainability and the passive house idea as such?
Well, I think it's all about using nature in its more natural way to make living more sustainable.
Yeah, I think I don't think I know. We need to think about how we use energy and what kind of energy we're using, and this is a great way of doing that, I think.
Yeah.
And now's the time to do it when you're building new rather than coming into it retrospectively, I think.
Yeah, retrospectively would be a lot harder to achieve it, I guess.
Yeah.
Did you get sort of in contact with the passive house principles straight away before you wanted to build a house, or was it sort of something that came up along the way?
Pretty an organic process, really. Talking with our architects and the builder sort of came together as that, with our ideas and their ideas, that this would be the way to go.
Yeah, I think it came along pretty early in the piece. You know, when we talked about what a beautiful place it is here to build around the trees, and that the forest is important to us. I think, you know, thinking about doing it more sustainably came into the project pretty early. We started working around from there, and all of the ideas that came up seemed great to us.
So was passive house something that you knew before, or was it more the sort of solar passive thing, and then your architect was taking it further, or?
Yeah, I'd come across it before from Europe. I've been in construction a long time, but more over in the UK. And I think it's been around there for a little bit longer. It seems to be a fairly new thing over here in Australia, though, so it's really good to be kind of getting ahead of the curve on that a little bit, I think.
That's great. We need to see a lot of those projects, I think, to get our energy efficiency and sustainability moving forward. So thanks for doing this and including that into this project. And yeah, it will be a great outcome.